I don't like anybody telling me what to do. And lately, the left wants to tell everybody it's the we all know this. You should. Stop telling me what to do. You go do it. You want to support stuff that the government should stay out of? You go do it. No one's stopping you from paying more taxes.
Tim Allen is not just a man of comedy and television, but a voice that won't be censored in a society that is so obsessed with cancel culture and political correctness. Remembered for spectacular sitcoms, box office hits, and sharply witty comments, Tim has been gradually begging Hollywood for change. But it hasn't been easy. Tim has experienced all forms of backlash, from the scandalous tweets to the cancellation of Last Man Standing. Join me today in the new video where I share with you the most daring moments of Tim Allen, his fights against the woke audience, and why, nevertheless, he continues to be popular. Remember to like, subscribe, and bell icon for more on this kind of content about your favorite stars. The comedian who won't back down, Tim Allen's fight against cancel culture. Tim Allen may be one of the most important comedians ever to emerge out of the American redneck tradition because he has been scarily consistent with his message. Tim began performing in the 1980s, and his approach was Derbyshire working class, but with an edge that he acknowledged was owed to inspirations such as Richard Pryor or Lenny Bruce. His materialism, largely based on family relationships and how society is, touched the hearts of many people as it became Inc. LOLA. But times have changed. The world today is very sensitive to any word uttered, and as a result, most comedians today have been left with no room to joke. Of all the people, though, Tim has not lost his daring look one bit. He has spoken out freely about the adverse effects of cancel culture, has labeled it as the worst kind of censorship that compromises creativity while feeding the masses with ready-made narratives. At one point, Tim decided to deal with it in one of his stand-up routines, using language and words some considered to be inflammatory. Some people accused him of being old-fashioned, and others said that he did not cave in to pressure. To Tim, the purpose of comedy goes way beyond simple, safe roasting. Its purpose is to make people listen. Tim goes an extra step in his rebellion not only during stage performances. In interviews, he has compared the cancel culture of the current environment to being in high school where everyone is waiting on someone to mess up. He has also condemned the democracy of political correctness in comedy based on the grounds that it kills on the reality and possibility of free and creative thinking. This stance has made Tim a loved and hated man. There are those who regard him as a man of the old world, and there are those that consider him as the only oppositionist. In any case, people keep coming for Tim as they get amused and enjoy watching such a brave comedian. That is why Ricky Gervais continues to be seen as one of comedy's reliables, due to his stand on doing comedy in his own terms. The rise and fall of Last Man Standing. When ABC decided to unceremoniously axe Last Man Standing in 2017, people could not help but wonder. It was a show about a conservative family man, Tim Allen, who played in the title role of Mike Baxter, and everything went well. Prior to its green signal to shut down, it ranked the second highest comedy show to the network by viewership, only next to Modern Family. American Culture. The show was more than just a sitcom. While Tim Tebow seems to be one of the few conservative options out there in the entertainment industry that knows how to call red zone, Last Man Standing presents viewers a quintessential conservative perspective. Others were issues to do with family, generation, and political affiliation were addressed with wit and depth. To many viewers, it seemed an interesting break from the rather predictable range of American films. Most of the crew, including Tim Allen, never saw the cancellation coming. Opposition groups started petitioning ABC and staging vigils on social media charging the organization with being politically biased. The network dismissed these claims, but merely because they happened at those times and in those circumstances, many could not gainsay the claims. Tim himself insinuated that he had become the target because of his comments, although he described it as an expected decision. The acrimony was largely negative, and it did not stop here. Instead, Fox decided to pick up the show a few months later to prove that people were just too engaged for the show to be canceled. So, by responding to the new competition, the revival got even higher ratings than before. It was good for Tim, and it proved that viewers do not forget those who stick to them, which was evident in the Last Man Standing saga that exposed the widening gap between Hollywood and the common moviegoer. It also pointed to Tim's endurance. Of course, this plan ended up being the case in what was to transpire in the following weeks and months. Instead of being discouraged by the cancellation, he moved it into the positive direction and made something from the cancellation to mean telling only the true stories. Tweets, trolls, and Tims fighting in cyberspace. As explicit as his comedies are, Tim Allen is quite of a social media presence to behold. Through the years, his tweets have been a cause of a lot of discussions, and his fans love it while his haters have been hating it. Thus, if for Tim what platforms like Twitter even are is not just marketing solutions or promo material, they are explicitly territories of struggle for redefining the hegemonic values. Tim, whose handle is at Mr. Tim Writes, posted a tweet causing outrage. He asked, "What does the face of woke look like?" It was a rhetorical critique of social media activism, where strangers use their keyboards to open fountains of fury and righteous indignation. The tweet quickly got shared across the continent, with people praising Tim for his shooting, straight talking, and others accusing him of being a divider. One was in Disneyland when Tim listened to the words of a teenager that worried about whether his ability to like skillets made him pansexual. It was then that Tim tweeted the same story, which created a frenzy. Some criticized him of being insensitive, while others defended the comment saying he was only joking. Tim's approach to social media mirrors his comedy. He is rather straightforward, honest, and liberal when it comes to expressing his opinion or stating unpopular opinion. Many of his tweets question prevailing paradigms, raising such modern topics as free speech, cancel culture, and the place of comedy. But this characterized by is not without risks. In fact, Tim Sweeney has been dealt with calls for his cancellation several times, and he does not stop. To him, the criticism is worth it, given that he has to be who he wants to be without compromises. Social media has made it easy for Tim to interact with his audience in a social way. Nevertheless, he leverages it to express his opinions and raise topics that most people would be scared to open. As such, he remains unbothered by cancel culture, and continues to remind people that true and unwavering self is worth more than fake acceptance. The Santa Clauses, the backlash and the changing face of Christmas in Hollywood. Fans enviously watched Tim Allen play the Saint Nick character, which he reprised in Disney Plus' The Santa Clauses. Since the movie The Santa Claus was released in 1994, Tim has popularized Christmas entertainment, humor, heart, and magic all in one. Yet, suddenly, the series was Cedar, a surprising center of controversy. It pointed to growing differences between a tradition and emerging culture modernizer. A special scene in The Santa Clauses came under fire. In the show, Tim, who plays the main character, tells a joke about Merry Christmas, referring to main issues of politically correct language during festive season. While many fans considered the line humorous and believed that they could easily use it in their daily lives, others complained that the words were politically charged. Facebook and Twitter raged, with commentators claiming that the show was promoting right-wing propaganda. But was this backlash warranted? Anyway, the series is a funny sequel to an Alice Christmas movie that nobody really expected to be deep political allegory. The bull's-eye view of humor shows that even the smallest cracks in the facade of comedy have been checked by the trend. To Tim, it was another case of how the society has turned sensitive, especially with issues to do with tradition like the Christmas festival. The reaction also raises concern on the difficulties surrounding producing content in present-day holiday-making conditions. The choice between Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays has consistently regressed back to being a cultural war, with those who want to keep the essence of the holiday versus the side that embraces the idea of inclusion. For some, this joke of his is an attempt at defending the Christmas spirit. To others, it is an intentional goad. However, The Santa Clauses has proved to be rather popular with the viewers, which can be explained by viewers cheering Tim coming back to the character. This year's performance indicates that there remains a niche for outdated Christmas narratives in a world that is increasingly becoming politically charged. What this controversy actually demonstrates, though, is that humor is a conversation starter. Tim Allen's decision to speak about various cultural change, even while doing a Christmas show, shows he was being honest. For better or worse, they still make people think about what is happening around them, thanks to this comedian. Tim Allen's career, Hollywood Nonconformity, a framework. Tim Allen's work is one of defiance and coming through the cracks. Starting as a stand-up comedian, Tim has always had to fight against conventionalism and expectations on how the industry must go while creating a successful path on television and films. Hayward's career was kickstarted on the show Home Improvement, a sitcom that promoted family values while being witty and commonsensical. But along with character evolution, he also emerged as Tim the Tool Man Taylor, the comic, everyday man, flawed and endearing. His success through the show Help Me Help You was not just dubbed stardom, but he was able to access huge budgets movies like The Santa Claus and Toy Story. Still, what his audience saw live and in the raw was anything but traditional, which is not far from Tim's escapade off camera. He had no qualms about expressing his conservatism when most of Hollywood endorsed democratic views, and it made him a beloved figure as well as a hated one. In interviews, Tim has said that being anti-PC and conservative in Hollywood is like walking on eggshells, which may not be very far from the truth in the liberal-dominated film industry. That is when one of the most significant moments of Tim's career occurred. Last Man Standing was canceled by ABC despite its popularity. This many people felt was the consequence of the show being conservative, and Tim having a lot to say. Still, instead of allowing this to happen, Tim channeled this setback into something fruitful. Fox then decided to bring the show back, and the show later became an even more incredible hit, proving that there was a huge market for shows that illustrated a different point of view. As heard, Tim has never been afraid to be who he is in his entire career. From comedy to acting, from Twitter to the White Rose, he has never been afraid to speak out how he feels. This has won him many followers who love seeing a celebrity speaking their mind, no matter how vexing. As it could be expected, this story of Tim is the excellent example of the successful drama, which inspired people to stay strong and become true to themselves. It's refreshing to find today an actor in this business who proved to the world that one could triumph in the way he or she wants to. Looking at his career, Brad's journey could well become a guidebook for any aspiring Hollywood actor or any employee anywhere interested in how to climb the ladder without compromising their integrity in the process. Tim Allen's legacy, how he transformed success in Hollywood as well as in the world. As Tim Allen has had to adapt to all the changes over the years in the entertainment industry, so does his strength in it. In fact, few personalities in Hollywood have gone unscathed through the decades there, influencing and shaping the industry like Tim has. Ever since he began as a comedian to becoming a television and movie star, he has continued to revolutionize what success looks like in a business that endorses flashiness over substance most of the time. It has been seen that one of the strategic successes of Tim has been his appeal to different strata of population. This kind of humor, because of family issues and ordinary difficulties, find the audience's echoes as it responds to the truth. Programs such as Home Improvement and Last Man Standing became not just programs to watch and laugh to, but programs with themes close to the society's life. However, Tim's versatile work is not strictly limited to the screen. Peoples respect him as a man who stood up for his principles and did not change the way he dressed in order to become an actor. That the man is not afraid to take sides and stick to his guns has endeared him unto many, especially those on the receiving end of the digital divide in the entertainment business. Lack of diversity, both in terms of people and ideas, is evident in Tim's experience also, yet the organization lost a great talent. When Hollywood appears to have only one voice and one opinion, Tim has made it clear that there is a place for as many opinions and narratives as there are potentially great filmmaking auteurs. His success is a positive message about audiences, and the fact is that there is demand in society for content that addresses all sorts of lifestyles and opinions. He carried this forward as he looks to the future. Tim has never ceased to both challenge himself as well as his viewers. As a comedian, as an actor, and as a culture talker, he is indispensable and keeps changing with the times to continue to be relevant. Rather, he did a lot of things. The things in work that have inspired several others to aspire for the similar heights. This indeed is the legacy of Mohit Gupta. In the end, Tim Allen's story is one of staying true to oneself in a world that tries to break you and will ultimately be the driving force behind the success of one man. It's the story of true identity, of perseverance, and of the ability to voice an opinion in a world that is increasingly becoming judgmental. So, as Tim goes on entertaining and motivating others, his impact will definitely not even be forgotten in hundreds of years. Tim Allen has a very inspiring narrative, or a real-life comedy that shows how necessary it is to be honest and rebel against a world that tries to make you change when you are different. Be yourself. In his fight against the PC police to his trailblazing in television and film, he has taught the world that being yourself is the most punk thing a person can do. Do you have any opinion about Tim Allen and the route he has taken to go through Hollywood? Please share your ideas with us in the comments section. They don't know that they should click that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications for more videos like this? As always, it was great to have you with us, and we'll catch you in the next one.